All right, now I'm going to show you the pad assign button. Right, so I'm going to press this pad assign button, press it once, and it lights up. Okay, so now you come to this screen here. First of all, we go back to the main page. We've got track 1 selected here, and we got my program selected there in part 1. So if I press pad assign, it takes me to this program here directly, as you can see at the top. This is the MIDI channel for that program. That's set for that program. Okay, so here, this is where you choose whatever note number you want for what pad. So you can specify the pad by pressing it, and you can change this here. As you can see, you can specify whichever note number you want. But those note numbers are actually with those keys. So number 36, as you can see here, is C1. It's always going to be C1. You can't change that because they're set. These are MIDI note numbers. As you can see, this is a MIDI drum kit. So as you can see at the bottom there, it says General MIDI bass drum. So they're always going to be the same wherever you go. So you can change the actual note number for the pad. This is where you do it right here. Okay. So now let's go over to, I've got this bell instrument. This is an actual key group instrument that I've got on track 2. So it's slightly different. It's not the same as a normal drum program. It's basically an instrument program, which is an instrument that plays chromatic notes. So to get to this program here, you press pad assign. And as you can see, it's different. It says at the top here, chromatic or default. This default is what all of the programs play with. So this is the default. You can change this, but my advice is to leave it how it is. Or if you want to change it to chromatic, you can change it to chromatic, which basically means what it says is chromatic. So the numbers go up with the notes. As you can see here, see, A, B, B, and they go with the note numbers. So here, if you change these, you can change this, but if you change one, all of them change, as you can see. See? They all change at once. So if I change the normal default one, these just change one at a time. So you can specify whichever note you want and change one at a time. Or there's another way of getting to this screen for each program. You just press the program button. So here we're going to specify the program. If we go on assign here for this key group, as you can see, it says key group there because it's not a drum program, it's a key group program. Okay. So if I press assign, it doesn't have anything here because it doesn't have actual single notes. It just has one note that's being turned into a chromatic instrument. So for a key group, if you press assign within the program page, this is what you'll see. You'll see a blank screen for the pads. So let's go back to, this is my drum program here. So if I specify this one and press F4, assign, takes me to the same screen. So you can actually, like I said, you can change the note numbers and you can change what is actually inside of that pad as well. See? So that's pad assign. That's basically it. So if you do change any of these for your program, they will be saved with your program within the multi settings or within the program itself. So you can change them and it will save with your program like that. If you change the default setting, it will actually save in your multi and your program if you save the program. If you go ahead and save the program, it will save like that. So that is the pad assign button. So if we go back to this page here where it says global pad assign chromatic, sometimes you might have a synthesizer or another keyboard or something that you're triggering with the MPC, and the notes might not match up exactly. They might be 4 behind or 4 in front. So here, this is where you would change it, because your synthesizer will also be chromatic. The notes will be chromatically set, but they won't be jumbled up like here on default. On default, they're jumbled up. Chromatic, they're straight. So your synthesizer or whatever you're controlling, if you've got another keyboard, let's say, like an ASR10, what I find with my MPC 4000 is that the notes are 4 notes under. So I have to go up by 4. Like this. Like down by 4, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then all the notes will be exactly the same. So that's why that is there. So you can match up your notes. That's why they all change at the same time. Or you can go through it the other way, the longer way, and just go on default and set them this way here, which is longer. So with this here, if I press the pad assign buttons, the pad bank button, sorry, this changes. It goes up the pads. So if I change this to chromatic, let's do it now. As you can see, the notes are going up one by one. See? But I'm going to discuss the pad banks in a minute. All right, the last thing we're going to cover on pad assign is the sensitivity. You can check the sensitivity of your pads by pressing pad assign button. Let's press pad assign. Press pad assign, as you can see here. And now we press the F2 key and it brings up this page here, which is pad sensitivity page. So here you can check the sensitivity of your pads. So I'm going to press pad 1, as you can see. It shows you the different velocities. If I press the full level button here, it will just slap on 127 each time. So that's it. And you can adjust the sensitivity of each key from 100 to 200. As you can see, 200. So that's it for the pad assign. All right, the next button, the Q-Link sequence button. I've already done a whole video on the Q-Link on the MPC 4000 in part 2 of this series. So if you want to know about the Q-Link sequence button, refer to part 2 of this series. All right, the next buttons I'm going to discuss now are the pad bank buttons. There are 6 pad bank buttons, A, B, C, D, E, and F. So these buttons here are used to specify which pad bank you want. So each pad bank has 16 pads. Okay. So you specify each one by pressing whichever one you want. So whichever one is activated has a light on top of it. So standardly, as you turn the machine on, it will say A. A will be highlighted. So each one of those pad bank buttons, A to F, has a double use. And the double use is basically it acts as a letter as well. So you got letter keys. Some of the keys are letter keys, like the pad bank keys are letter keys, and the mode buttons are letter keys. And the timing correct and the undo and the master tempo button, they are letter keys as well. And also you've got the note repeat, erase, 16 level, full level, pad assign, and Q-Link sequence. They're symbols. And this is for basically naming stuff. So if you want to name a sequence, sample, or anything, you can use the rotary knob to select your whatever character you want to use, or there's character keys, which I just told you.